I mean, supermarkets are one of the few businesses, I suppose, that did rather well out of the pandemic and out of the lockdown because they were always open continually. They were the only place really where people could go. So people who probably didn't even need to go shopping just went there because it was something they could do. You know, I remember giving up in the end because I refused to spend my time standing in those awful snaking queues where you would stand a metre behind the person in front of you and wait to go inside and put your hand sanitizer on and your mask and all that nonsense. So I ended up going to Borough Market to buy everything, which was much easier, but much more expensive. But I mean, this loyalty scheme thing has really taken off, hasn't it, lately? I've noticed that if you go to supermarkets now, there's two different prices. It's kind of predatory pricing in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, and Tesco started it, as far as I can tell. They have a very, I think, aggressive campaign with their Clubcard now, and it does show the fact that they will give such huge discounts between having a Clubcard and not having a Clubcard. It shows how important these loyalty cards are to them, and they're willing to give you a significant discount. Really, to get your data. It's not really so much the loyalty. Loyalty helps, but it's data. That's what is the really, really valuable thing to them. So that's what they're giving. But now we're finding from which magazine, they have worked out, and frankly, I think a lot of us worked this out a little while ago, that some of the supermarkets, and they're particularly naming and shaming Tesco and Sainsbury's, are doing what, you know, shops have traditionally done just before sale time. You know, go, oh, look, we've got these things on sale. And then you find that actually they put the prices up just before the sale time to make it look like it's a discount. And that does seem to be what they're doing. If you don't have a Clubcard, you're paying over the odds. You really are, for their normal stuff. If you compare it to other supermarkets.
Because people do love a bargain, don't they? And if you say to somebody, oh, look, this was 10 quid a minute ago, now it's only 7, and you go, oh, great, I'll have a couple of those, and then you end up spending 14. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, Nescafe Gold is being highlighted here as one example from Sainsbury's. They say the Nescafe Gold example demonstrates Which's flawed methodology, as their claim that the regular price was £6 is untrue. They say the base price of this item has been £8.10 since December 2022, and £6 was a promotional price throughout this year, including on Nectar Prices when it launched in April. So they're kind of coming out fighting Sainsbury's, saying, hang on a minute, Which has looked at this, but they've actually got some of the pricing wrong. I don't think that denotes or demurs the actual main principal point, though, does it?
Well, no, absolutely. You know, a lot of these things, it kind of depends when you take the price, but which has ordinary people going out, you know, actual shoppers going into the shops, taking a note of the prices. So you could say, oh, well, if they'd gone a week earlier, they'd have got a better price than this particular week. But yeah, as you say, that the point is that they're putting the price up at some point and then bringing it down, allegedly. And if it's compared to prices at, say, Aldi and Lidl or even Morrison's, whatever, they might find that actually the regular price is actually quite different to the one that Tesco and Sainsbury's say is regular.
Yes, and Tesco's are saying basically they offer customers potential savings of up to £351 a year, while they can collect Clubcard points that can be put towards groceries and fuel or doubled up in value with our reward partners. I know that certainly when my kids were a bit younger, their mother used to collect Tesco points and convert them into, you know, sort of restaurant vouchers that you could do. I don't know if they're still doing that. So some people find them, I suppose, worthwhile. But I don't think anybody's objecting to the loyalty card. It's just the fact that if they're pretending that things were more expensive than they actually were, Sainsbury's is saying, oh, well, it's because of inflation we've been putting prices up, blah, 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 blah. It's just slightly, it's a sort of a sin of omission, really, isn't it?
Well, it is. And you know, all of these things, as, you know, typically happens, they're not as good as they used to be. So the Tesco Clubcard, you used to get like 4 times the value if you went to Pizza Express or whatever. Now it's 3 times. It'll probably be 2 times later on. And, you know, increasingly, although I talk about loyalty schemes and, oh, look, you can get points and you can use your points to do blah, that increasingly I'm not keen on them myself, because for 2 reasons. One is because quite often it's the more expensive places that give you the loyalty points. So, for example, you'll get better loyalty points at Boots than you would at Superdrug, but Superdrug prices are generally cheaper than Boots. So, you know, what's the difference really? But also, it's this whole surveillance state, watching what you're spending, taking note of everything you're doing. There comes a point where you just think, oh, just shut up. I'm not going to give you my details. I'm not going to give you my valuable data for a few points, frankly.
No, exactly right. I mean, I remember, I've told this story before, that when I was living in Glasgow many years ago, I then moved to another part of the country, which was a bit further, closer to Edinburgh. And so the local Tesco's where I used to go, I didn't go anymore. And I got a letter from them out of the blue to my new address saying, oh, sorry to see we haven't seen you for a while. Is there any reason why you're not shopping with us anymore?
Wow.
I'm like, blimey. And I was like, well, you've sent a letter to me, so you've obviously found me, and you've worked out maybe that I don't live near there anymore. But, I mean, I was quite horrified. I was like, how the hell do they know that?
Yeah, well, exactly. And, rightly so. And this is something I was talking about yesterday with the rise in the use of cash, for example, because obviously, people are using cash more because of the cost of living, etc. But there's a big political movement now. I mean, I'm calling it political. It's quite a groundswell of opinion that we want cash because it's people can't track you with it. They can track you with your credit card spending, your phone spending, and anything digital easily tracked. With cash, it's not. And those who are against cash, which seems to be most governments and a lot of big corporations, they go, oh, it's all it's just the people who are bad, who use cash. It's criminals who use cash. But actually, it's normal people like us that just get to the point where I think we don't really want to be tracked.
Well, you want the option, don't you? I mean, if you want to spend something and you want to buy something with cash, you should be able to.